I swear, I don't remember what it feels like to wake up next to someone, Emma sighed, sinking deeper into my plush sofa. I watched her carefully, swirling the crimson wine in my glass. Before we continue, please tap like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. If you already have, thank you for being here. Now, let's get back to our story. That's genuinely sad, I replied, taking a small sip. How long has it been now? She groaned, running a hand through her auburn hair. Months, maybe longer. I've lost track. I shook my head slightly. Couldn't be me. I don't think I could last a week without David. Emma rolled her eyes, a playful annoyance crossing her features. Yes, we know. You won the husband lottery. I couldn't help the smile that curved my lips. I really did, though. The man knows exactly what I need before I even ask. She exhaled slowly, her shoulders dropping. Must be nice. I studied her face, noting the shadows under her eyes, the slight downturn of her mouth. She wasn't just lonely. There was a hollowness about her that spoke of something deeper. Maybe that's the real issue, I suggested carefully. Her brow furrowed. What do you mean? I leaned forward slightly, my voice dropping. You think you're feeling this way because of the divorce, but maybe you just need someone who actually understands how to make you feel good again. Her head snapped up, eyes widening. Excuse me? I maintained my smile, taking another leisurely sip. You wouldn't even have to look far. What exactly are you suggesting? Her voice wavered slightly. I let the silence stretch between us, watching the realization slowly dawn in her eyes. What if I shared mine with you? I finally said. Her breath caught audibly. You can't be serious. I simply smiled. Later that evening, I traced lazy patterns across David's chest, our bodies still warm from making love. The satisfaction hummed through me, a pleasant afterglow that only he could provide. That was incredible, I murmured, pressing a soft kiss to his shoulder. He chuckled, his eyes half closed. As always, I let the comfortable silence settle between us before speaking again. Emma needs this. His brow furrowed slightly. Who? My friend, I said, propping myself up on one elbow. She's miserable since the divorce. I think she just needs to feel wanted again. He frowned, still not quite following my train of thought. I trailed my nails lightly over his stomach, feeling his muscles tense beneath my touch. Maybe you could help her with that. His body stiffened. Wait, you're actually serious? I nodded slowly. She needs this, and you. You know exactly what a woman needs. He exhaled deeply, running a hand over his face. I don't know about this. I leaned in closer, pressing my lips against his jawline. I'd be there, watching, guiding. His breathing changed, becoming slightly uneven. I could feel the hesitation in him, but also the curiosity that was building. You trust me, don't you? I whispered against his skin. His fingers tightened at my waist, and I knew I had him. The next morning, I handed David his coffee as he walked into the kitchen, still drowsy from sleep. We should invite her over, I said casually. He frowned slightly. For? I met his gaze steadily. To talk? He hesitated. And by talk, you mean? I just smiled, and he didn't press further. He exhaled, rubbing the back of his neck, but he didn't say no. That was enough for me. I sent the message, and Emma replied almost immediately. Sure, I could use some company. When she arrived, she looked tired, like she hadn't fully shaken off the weight she'd been carrying. But her eyes were clearer, more curious. We sat with coffee in hand, and I allowed the moment to settle before tilting my head slightly. "Been thinking about what we discussed?" I asked. She gave me a sidelong glance. "Maybe." I smiled, and she sighed. "I understand what you were suggesting," she said, "but it's not exactly easy to just." She gestured vaguely. I leaned in. "What if it was?" Her brows furrowed. "What do you mean?" I reached for David's wrist, running my fingers over his skin. Her eyes flickered between us. "We want to help," I murmured. Silence fell between us. "You're serious?" she said, blinking rapidly. I nodded. She swallowed, her gaze shifting between David and me, searching for something in our expressions. "You trust me, don't you?" I asked after a long pause. Finally, she set her coffee down. "What exactly are you suggesting?" I smiled. "Let me show you." I led them into the bedroom, my breath steady, my pulse a slow thrum beneath my skin. Inside, though, I was burning with anticipation. Emma followed hesitantly, her movements careful and uncertain. David walked in with quiet tension in his frame, still processing what was about to happen. I knew exactly what I was doing. I turned to him first, trailing my fingers down his chest, slowly removing his shirt with deliberate ease. His breathing and his muscles flexing slightly under my touch. Then I faced Emma. She stood still, caught between anticipation and hesitation, her lips parted as if waiting for permission. I smiled, sliding my hands over her shoulders, teasing the fabric of her top. She didn't pull away, so I took my time. The first piece of clothing hit the floor, then another. The weight in the air shifted as David reached for her, his hands moving slowly and deliberately. His hesitation was still there, but his touch was steady. Emma exhaled shakily, sinking into his warmth, letting him guide her. I stepped back, lowering myself onto the chair beside the bed, watching, taking in the way his hands explored her, the way she responded, the quiet gasps slipping past her lips. I crossed my legs, feeling a pulse of heat through me. This was what I wanted, to see him like this, to see her like this, to feel the tension coil tighter as I watched. His lips found her neck, tracing lower, his hands mapping her curves. She arched under him, her body reacting to every touch, every slow movement. I shifted, pressing my thighs together as warmth spread through me, my breath turning shallow. "Just like that," I murmured, my voice low, encouraging. "Take your time with her." He did. His lips pressed lower, trailing along her skin, his hands steady as he guided her back against the mattress. She melted beneath him, a soft sigh escaping her lips, her fingers weaving into his hair. I dragged my nails lightly over my exposed thigh, the sensation sending another wave of need through me. She was beautiful. So was he. And together, they were something even more intoxicating. I traced slow circles against my skin, matching the rhythm of their movements. David's hands slid lower, drawing a sharp inhale from Emma. Her fingers dug into his shoulders, her body trembling beneath his touch. "Do you like the way he touches you?" I asked, my voice smooth and teasing. She didn't answer with words. But the way her breath hitched, the way she clung to him, it was enough. The sounds filling the space, the slow, deliberate movements, the heat radiating between them. I thought I could just sit here, just watch, just enjoy from a distance. But as the tension tightened, as the pleasure built between them, I realized something else. I was getting restless. I wasn't sure how much longer I could stay on the sidelines. I was burning up. The warmth in my body had built too high, the tension wound too tight. Every glance, every breath, every soft sound that filled the room made it harder to remain apart. And I didn't want to anymore. I rose from the chair, stepping closer, letting my fingertips graze along David's arm. His breath hitched, his gaze flicking to mine, deep and unreadable. Emma turned too, her expression caught between hesitation and something eager. I smiled, knowingly. "Move up," I murmured, brushing my fingers through his hair, guiding him back against the pillows. He obeyed without question, his chest rising and falling heavily, his body tense beneath my touch. Then I turned to her. "Come here," I said softly, my voice thick with warmth and promise. She hesitated, her breath uneven, but then she followed. She shifted into place, settling against him, her body moulding to his as he steadied her, his hands firm at her sides. I watched, taking in the way they moved together, the silent communication between them, the heat humming between all three of us. Then I climbed onto the bed, positioning myself above them, my hands settling at his shoulders. His breath was warm, sending a shiver up my spine. I leaned forward, my hands brushing against her arms, steadying her, guiding her. "Just like that," I whispered against her lips, tilting her chin toward me. "Let me help you." She exhaled sharply as I pressed my mouth to hers, tasting the heat, still lingering on her skin. She melted into me, her fingers curling at my waist, letting me take control, letting me lead. I deepened the kiss, my hands sliding to her sides, helping her find the rhythm, setting the pace. She followed my lead, her body moving in sync with mine, our breaths tangling together. Below us, David groaned, his fingers pressing into my back as he pulled me closer. A sharp wave of warmth shot through me, making me gasp against her lips. I tangled my fingers in her hair, tilting her head to deepen the kiss. The softness of her skin, the way her body reacted beneath my handset, only made the fire inside me burn hotter. I could feel the tension building, all of us teetering on the edge, the anticipation tightening with every movement, every touch, every sound. Her breath turned unsteady, her grip tightening on me. David's hands flexed at my sides, his body tensing beneath us. It was overwhelming, the energy coiled sharp and consuming until finally it unraveled. A rush of warmth spread through me, my body trembling, my breath catching in short, broken gasps. I felt them tense around me. The weight of the moment pressing into all of us, filling the room with lingering heat and satisfaction. For a long moment, none of us moved. The air was thick with warmth, our bodies tangled, our breaths uneven. Then I collapsed onto the bed, stretching lazily, a slow, satisfied smile curving my lips. Emma let out a shaky laugh, brushing her fingers through her tousled hair. David exhaled deeply, his arm draping over my stomach, his grip possessive even in the aftermath. I turned my head, glancing between them, my heart still racing. I had wanted to give her something, to help her, but I hadn't expected just how much I would enjoy it myself. And I wasn't sure I wanted this to be the last time. The morning light filtered through the curtains, casting a warm glow over the tangled sheets and the slow rise and fall of steady breaths. I stretched lazily, my body still humming with remnants of the night before. Beside me, David stirred, his arm draped possessively over my waist. On the other side, Emma shifted, her fingers brushing absently against my skin. There was no awkwardness, no regret, just a quiet, lingering warmth that settled deep in my bones. I turned my head, glancing between them, a knowing smile playing at my lips. Last night had been about her, about giving her something she needed, but now I knew better. I had enjoyed this just as much, maybe even more. And as I traced lazy circles against David's chest, I knew one thing for certain. This wouldn't be the last time. I told myself this was just for her, just a way to help. But now, I'm not so sure. Is this something only the bold would dare to try? Or do some secrets belong in the dark? Let me know what you think in the comments. I want to hear every perspective. And if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications you won't want to miss what's next. See you soon.